it's Kathianne Lewis, and it's time for your Faith Lift. And this Faith Lift is about praying because actually, if we want to raise our faith, if we want to raise up into that place where we believe in something so concretely that it becomes concrete in our life, because that's what faith does. Faith makes the invisible possibility reality in our world. That's what faith does. And the more faith we have, the more that can show up in our life, that we will desire a thing, think a thing, and it will start to show up because we have faith in the process. But sometimes we trip ourselves up. And one of the ways we trip ourselves up is by having a short-term goal, thinking I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and not having a long-range result that we're being drawn to, and a great and high intention. I hate to say it, but sometimes I think we win the battle and lose the war. And I hate those, and the reason I say I hate using that phrase is because I really don't want to give my attention to battles or war anymore. So I need to come up with another way of saying it. But I've done this and I've watched other people do it. Well, people have prayed. I remember trying very, very hard to help us stay in the property that we had on Sandpoint Way. And I think we needed like $4 million, and we already had $1.5 million to pay off what do they call that? A balloon payment to the bank, because otherwise they weren't going to renew our loan. And I'd pray, and $500,000 would show up, and I'd pray, and somebody else would offer us $1 million, but I never got to $4 million. It never happened. I was praying for money to come in, money came in, and yet we did not pay off the balloon payment, and yet it was also the answered prayer, because we were spending a whole lot of people's gifts and contributions to a ministry on a building. And now we can take people's contributions and gifts and we put them into ministry, much more so than just upkeeping a huge building. But anyway, do you see? Short term. What did we really want? What we wanted to be was more financially free so that we could serve people instead of feeding a building. Because that's what it felt like after we paid all the bills that it took just to keep that building open. Anyway, how can you kind of get the idea of what I'm saying? I remember also wanting to be in a wonderful relationship, and I prayed that I'd be kinder and I'd be cuter, and that I'd have the right look, and that I'd say the right things, and that I'd be funny, and I'd pray for all these things, and I'd pray to change my personality, and I'd pray to meet somebody, and I'd pray that they'd like me, and yet it never worked out. And yet, when I finally prayed that I was in a satisfying, fulfilling, and supportive relationship that would last the rest of my life, then it happened. What's your end result? What do you really want? To pray for that. And then, as Judge Thomas Towards would say, in that end, in that thing that you want, is the means to reach that end. In the end is the means. And it unfolds before us, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. Really. I watch so many people try to improve themselves so they get the result that they want, and they improve and they improve and they improve, and yet they don't get the result they want because they didn't just pray for the result they wanted. Short-term gain, but long-term loss. But we can change that in an instant. We can change that by simply allowing ourselves to see who we want to be in 5 years and 10 years, next year. Not necessarily today, although that does count. But there was a time when I wanted to have money to retire on, and I didn't have much money to even live on. But by holding that in mind, things changed. I don't know if I spent differently. I know unexpected money started rolling in, but I didn't pray for unexpected money, and I didn't pray to change my spending. I just prayed that I would have more than enough to save and invest, and I would invest well, and that I would know the right thing to do with the money that I had. And you know what? It worked. Long range plans, a long range vision for your life in every area of your life. Think about that. And if you need help, that's why we have wonderful prayer practitioners available after services, in person and online. And just ask them to help you know clarity on what should I be praying for so that my life unfolds with grace and glory. That's a good one. My life unfolds with grace and glory. I'll pray about that. Bye for now.
When I get up and I have too much to do, when I feel down, sinking deep in the blues, when I'm in pain, or maybe it's you, I'm gonna pray, pray, pray. When I feel mean and start a fight with a friend, or when I'm tired and I'm nearing my end, when I am hurt and I'm needing to mend, I'm gonna pray, pray, pray. I'm gonna pray for understanding, pray to see the light, for humility when I've done wrong and you are in the right. When I win and I'm feeling my best, or when I lose, I am equally blessed. When I'm afraid and my life is a mess, I'm gonna pray, pray, pray. I'm gonna see the good in everyone and in my own self too. When my will starts getting too strong and I forget where I truly belong, I'm gonna stop and sing God's favorite song. I'm gonna pray, pray, pray. When day is done and I'm going to bed, and my poor mind goes out dancing instead, push all aside and be divinely led, I'm gonna pray, pray.